Hi, you're watching Shakti Yoga Studio presents How to Become a True Yogi. In today's episode, we are going to talk about Dhyana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga, the fourth path of yoga given by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. So let's get started. Now, Ashtanga Yoga was given by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna himself lived some 5,000 plus years ago. Now, 2,200 years ago, Maharishi Patanjali has written his first written book on yoga called the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, which defines Ashtanga Yoga in a more detailed manner. Now, as the name suggests, Ashtanga Yoga is 8 parts. The first part is Yama. These are the rules of social conduct, the way a person is expected to behave with the society around him. There are 5 such rules: Ahimsa or non-violence, truth, non-stealing, abstinence or brahmacharya, and aparigraha, which is non-hoarding. The second or the second part is Niyama. These are the rules of self-discipline. There are again 5 such rules. The first rule being cleanliness or shaucha, santosh, contentment, tapas, simple living. Fourth, swadhyaya, study of the self. And fifth is Ishwar Pranidhan, or connection or commitment to God. Now, the third one is Asana. Patanjali says Sthiram Sukham Asana. What that means is a seated posture in which you can remain still and comfortable for a long period of time is an asana. Why do I need to be sitting still and comfortably? Because if I'm going to meditate, it is Dhyana Yoga after all. If I'm going to meditate, my focus should not be on the physical body, because I need to go to the inner layers at every step, right? So I need to be able to be still and comfortable in the posture that I'm sitting in. The fourth is Pranayama. Now, Pranayama deals with the energy layer or the prana kosha. Now, the energy layer for Pranayama, Patanjali says breathing in and breathing out along with Kumbhaka. What is Kumbhaka? Kumbhaka is holding of your breath. So you breathe in, hold the breath in, and then you breathe out. And then you hold the breath out, and then you breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold, breathe in, right? This is the only kind of pranayama that Patanjali has defined in his book. Now, when we come to fifth part, it is called Pratihara, or withdrawing of the senses. Why do I need to withdraw the senses? Because we talked about asana, which is talking about the comfort of the physical layer. We talked about pranayama, which is talking about the energy layer. Now we're talking about pratihara. Pratihara is to try and control the mental layer, right? How do I control the mental layer? The mind is always chasing the 5 sensory organs, right? So if I can withdraw the senses in, I can control the mind better. Right? Now the 6th step is called as Dharana. What do I mean by Dharana? Dharana is concentration. Now, what do I mean by concentration? When I'm sitting for a lecture in the class, right? Typically what happens is I'm listening very focusedly to what the presenter is talking about. But in between, my mind drifts off to something that happened in the morning, or something that I need to go and do immediately after this talk. Or I'm hungry, and so I'm thinking about what am I going to eat for lunch, right? So the mind wanders, and then it comes back. We listen for a while, it wanders onto something else, and then it comes back. This is dharana, the state where the focus is unstable. You're concentrating, then you're losing focus, concentration, losing focus. This is the stage of dharana. What is dhyana? Dhyana is when you're looking and your focus is completely on that. Say when you're watching a suspense thriller, right? You're glued to the TV and you don't want to listen to anything. Or a match, cricket match, last few overs, and you're like, who's going to win, right? And you don't want to be distracted by anything and anybody. That's full focus. Dhyan laga ke paro, dhyan laga ke dekho. Why dhyan? Dhyan is focus. Now when that concentration, when that meditation is on God or the self, it becomes dhyana, meditation, or yoga. When it is on something else, then it is on something else, right? Now the last one is samadhi. Samadhi is when you are so immersed in what you're meditating on that you have no concept left of who am I, where am I, what am I up to. You know, it's like khate, pite, jakte, sote. That's all I think about, right? When that kind of focus comes, you will see it in people who are focused on getting that first in IIT or getting that IAS seat or, you know, getting that government job or whatever it is. So that kind of focus where there is nothing else except what you're focused on, that is samadhi. And again, when that focus becomes on God or the self here is the Atma, not being selfish wala self, then it becomes samadhi. Alright, so now we are going to look at each of these in more detail so that we can understand and try and practice them. So the first we come to Yama, rules of social conduct. We said the first rule is non-violence. If I asked you a question, are you violent? What is going to be your answer? Now, I thought about it and I feel I'm probably not violent by nature. I'm very soft in my nature. But most of us will realize that at some point of time, we might have hit somebody in anger. Could be a sibling, could be a friend, or could be a child whom we are trying to discipline, right? But that is still violence. Now, when we come to yoga, we are not just talking about physical violence. We are talking about manasa, vacha, and karma. Manasa is a mind, that means the thought level. Vacha is words at the words level. And the third is karma at the action level. So we have to ensure that we are non-violent in all the three levels. Now you'd have noticed that if you hit somebody, it's a matter of few seconds, right? But when you say, right, you say rude words, you're angry and you shout at somebody, or you're gossiping about somebody, or you're creating a rumor about somebody, these negative things last for minutes, right? But when you come to thoughts, you will find that they sometimes last for hours, days, months, years even. You keep on holding to the grudges, to the pain, to the hurt, to the feeling of betrayal, anger, right? So all that negativity you hold here for years on years and years, right? What happens when you hold on to all this negativity in you? It is going to affect how you behave in the future. For example, if somebody has betrayed me and I'm upset, and I hold on to that, it creates a fear in me of trusting. And so what happens is in every relationship of mine, now I find it difficult to trust people. So I'm going to be suspicious. I'm going to create doubt, right? And as a result, I will probably start spying, listening into conversations, checking the messages, checking for emails and whatnot. Now, as I keep doing this with every relationship of mine and keep building these thoughts, it becomes my nature. It becomes my sanskar. And I take this with me, not just in this lifetime, unfortunately, I carry it across lifetimes. And so even when I have the next life, even though my body has changed, I'm not being betrayed by anyone in this lifetime. I'm not able to trust people because it's a sanskar which I have created by constantly creating a habit of not trusting people. And that is the reason why you will find that there are people who easily trust others and there are people who just cannot trust others, because everybody's journey is different based on what we have seen. We will carry that with us. That in our society, even our language gives us the means of not taking responsibility for what I have done. How? Haath ut gaya. How does a haath go on its own and go and hit somebody? It's a muscle, right? Which needs a reaction, a signal from the brain, and the brain is only going to signal if it's coming from the mind. So we have to take responsibility. हाथ उठ गया नहीं, हाथ उठाया, मुंह से निकल गया नहीं, मुंह से बोला, right? So we say that the words just came out of the mouth. They didn't come out on their own unless we speak. Nothing comes out of the mouth on its own. So the language itself has been converted to treat it as if things happen without we doing anything. But we need to start to take responsibility for our thoughts, for our words, and for our actions. Now, the good thing about this is that I don't have to control my actions. I don't have to control my words. All I need to do is control my thoughts. If I take care of the thoughts, the words and the actions will take care of themselves. Okay? So now, how do I work on my thoughts? Now, the first and very basic but very important step is to build an awareness of what you are thinking throughout the day, right? So once you start building, it's a habit which we typically don't often have. But we are thinking, but we need to have the I, who is even more inner than the Manasa, so my Buddhi layer and the Atma layer. We can keep a watch on the thoughts that are coming in our mind. And every time there is a negative thought, keep a dot there. Okay, so here I'm thinking negative. Why am I thinking negative? So that's where we need to start working, right? Now, how do I start working? Once I have begun to identify the kind of negative thoughts I'm creating, how do I start working on it? So the first step is done. I have identified what negative thoughts that I am getting. Now the second thing to do in the initial stage is to try and build a timeout. What is a timeout here? I'm going to say that, okay, somebody insulted me, right? Though that's not the correct phrase to go with, but I feel insulted by something that somebody has done, right? I'm going to say, I'm going to give myself 5 minutes, 10 minutes to be upset about it, then I'm going to let it go. I'm going to start giving a time out so that the duration of not holding on to it for days and weeks and months and years, she has insulted me that day, there, right? Let's not get into that. Keep a time out, minutes. So the first thing, as I said, is to accept responsibility. When I said that somebody has insulted me, has somebody insulted me? I do not know what their intention was, right? No, I was walking, somebody else is coming from the opposite direction. Maybe they didn't see me, maybe they were thinking of something else, maybe they are off mood, they've had a fight with somebody, they don't want to say hello. So they look the other way and they walk away, right? How do I perceive it? And this is very important to understand. How do I perceive it? There are many ways to perceive it. And based on how I perceive it, is going to be what I say and what I do, right? So it always starts with a thought. What I can do, I can smile at them, I can greet them, I can go closer to them, say hello, good morning, how are you doing today, right? Or I can look the other way as well and walk away. Like, okay, आज मूड नहीं है, ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं, कल बात करेंगे. I could think like that and walk away. Right? That's an option too. Third option is, I say, how dare not look at me, pretending as if they've not seen me. Of course, I'm right here. They're walking by past me. How is it possible that they've not seen me? How dare they insult me like that? A good morning बोलने में क्या होता है? It's a basic courtesy. Or they can at least smile even if they don't want to say, right? And then उस दिन ऐसा किया था, and I did so much for them. What are the things I have done for this person? And look, today काम निकल गया, आँख चुरा के चला गया. Thoughts up to me. We need to understand this very, very important part. I create the reaction here. What is happening outside, whether it's the circumstance or whether it's the relationship, that is not in my control. But what I create here, that is only in my control. Right? So when the person has passed by looking the other way and not greeted me, I can create any kind of thought here and accordingly say the things and accordingly do the actions. Right? It is my choice. So, can I say that person has insulted me? No. That person has walked on without greeting me. That is what that person has done. Is it an intention of insult? No. If I believe, I perceive it as an intention of insult, then that is my perception, my creation. I can also think of it as, पता नहीं आज क्या हुआ, शायद मूड खराब है, कुछ प्रॉब्लम है. Let me go and ask and see if I can help the person. I can create compassion. I don't have to create disrespect. I don't have to create hurt. I can create compassion. I can create cordiality. Okay, if he doesn't want to say hello, I'm going to say hello. And you just go and say hello. It doesn't have to be this extreme, that extreme. It can just be something as that. As simple, right? So first thing to understand is I'm responsible for the reaction that I create to an external circumstance or a behavior of another person. Nobody makes me angry. Nobody is irritating me. Okay? I am creating irritation. I am getting angry by so-and-so's behavior. Let us take responsibility. That is very, very important. Now, the next thing, मेरे साथ बुरा क्यों हुआ? Why does it happen to me? Or why is it happening to me? Right? For that we have the answer. Right? न जाने किस जन्म का पाप. Now I know that there are a lot of people who will not agree with me. But as per the laws of karma, what goes out is going to come back. There is no stopping that. And also, the corollary to that is that something that you don't send out cannot come back to you. What that means is, we say, Jako rakhe saiya maar sake na koi. It is not that God is protecting some people and not protecting the other people. That wouldn't make sense, right? What kind of God would do that? What happens is that if somebody has a negative intention towards me to harm me, I will get harmed as a result of the intention if there was a boomerang out there that I had sent out earlier which needs to come back to me. That person has become the means of providing me with the result. However, if I had not sent out an earlier boomerang which needs to come back to me, no matter how negative the person's intention is, they're not going to be able to hurt me in any way. So ultimately, it is not the God that is protecting you, and it is not the God that is bashing you out. It is your actions, the results of which are coming back to you. Now, how do I change that? I cannot change what I have already sent out. However, I can do two things. One, I can change everything that goes out from this moment. The actions, the words, and the thoughts that I create. I can choose to create more positive thoughts, more positive words, and better actions from this moment on. And so now the boomerangs that go out are also going to come back, and they will come back being positive. That's the first part. And the second part is again a converse, the other side of the same coin. The more positive you become, when a negative boomerang comes to you, it increases your power. As I have said, the sattvic qualities, there are 7 sattvic qualities: purity, love, peace, knowledge, happiness, power, and bliss. This power is soul power. It is a power of your soul to get through things, to be good in the worst of times. That strength, that inner strength is power here. It's not power over other people, it's power or control over yourself. And as your soul power increases with you changing your mansa, vacha, and karma, you will be able to take the things that come back to you, the olden things which are not so positive, in your stride. You'll be able to better deal with them, and the impact of it is going to be less on you than it would be otherwise. So we need to ensure that we are able to pick ourselves up and fight again with life, change our course, do different things, and we can only do that if our power, soul power, inner power is high. And in order to make it high, we need to change the way we respond to each and everything in life. And that we can only do when we start taking responsibility of the thoughts that we are creating, the words that we are speaking, and the actions that we are performing. Right? So with this, I'm going to end this episode because this was important to understand and to apply to the other yamas and niyamas as we go through in the other episodes. So, thank you. God bless you.